the Icelanders win, for instance, the Icelandic girls, they would go to World Cup finals for women. We did it for men this summer. It's one further back. We have a course here, football course for artificial grass and light projectors to make it able to play even in the autumn. And we have one track and field station here too. And on the right hand side, what we have until recently we better at, and that is handball. This is a handball, and as of the 30s, 40s, they started harnessing the thermal heat within that hotspot of Reykjavik, but later on with boreholes in a radius of maybe 20 miles, 30 kilometers from Reykjavik. Today, all of Reykjavik and 90% of Iceland are heated with thermal heat. Put superficial, fine plastic pipelines just over under the pavement and the streets as a snow melting system. So in the winter time, if you were roaming around in Reykjavik, you might see some snow in people's gardens, but not on the pavements, many places. And this is thoroughly utilizing the hot water, the thermal water, and of course coming off on the left-hand side with oldest, the main building from 1930 with a black roof is the main hospital of Reykjavik. The state hospital, which is now one unit with the city hospital to form a university hospital. Once admitted to a hospital and it's necessary operational treatment, you don't pay. But they're pretty keen on sending you back home, and then you're an outpatient, and then then Christopher Columbus came about. This was around 1000, so Christopher Columbus came about 500 years later, and you know the rest of the story. So left-hand side is our domestic airport. The British and the Americans started building it in during Second World War. Now it's only for domestic travel, and the international airport is about 50 kilometers, some 35 miles from Reykjavik. Almost an hour's drive. And all the area here coming up on the left-hand side, more or less, is the University of Iceland, by far the biggest, oldest and most elaborate of altogether 7 institutions on the academic level. The main building, the oldest one, with which is in the middle here on the right-hand side, a little greyish one, with some flagpoles in front. It's by the same, by the main state architect as did the church. Is the first workers' buildings, buildings that were built in midst of the recession in the 30s. The guy on the statue is Union City Center. I suppose you have some of the same stories in some of your cities. Further on behind us on the left-hand side would be a municipality with a lighthouse, and that's a special municipality, and as you might think, rather exclusive to live there. So it's a little bit privileged, but still a very easy access to the city center, which we are approaching now. We are approaching the old harbor. Here, Saga Museum, the first 600 years of Icelandic history, with figures made out of silicon instead of the usual. And an Aurora Museum and a Maritime Museum coming up. This is the old harbor, and besides the bigger, newer buildings here, there would be old fishermen's shacks coming up on the left-hand side, which have turned into something else: ice cream parlors, studios, cafes, and so on. If you have been to San Francisco, I call this place Fisherman's Wharf in miniature. A little bit further on, as we drive more and more, turning this into a highly popular place, started here in this building on the left-hand side, Sea Baron. A guy started a langoustine soup restaurant in his fisherman's shack, sitting on barrels, eating coarsely but a very nice soup. It became immensely popular, and so gradually, in the crash with fast augmenting tourism, this turned into a very popular place for tourists as Icelanders. Very good restaurants here. This here on the left-hand side would be for minor cruises, and we have the territorial boats, that is the Coast Guard here, coming up. Your lunch, say for $4 or $5 on hot dog. Of course, there are more than one hot dog stand, but this is Bill Clinton's stand, so people stand in line, stay. One important point here before we go back to the ship, and that is the 110-year approximately house where the presidents Reagan and Gorbachev had their meeting. 1986. It's a white building with a grey roof. And what would that be, this building here on the left-hand side, with the grass on it? This is a part of our sewage system.
Wow.
It gets thoroughly cleaned, and then the liquid is sent far out in pipelines to the ocean after cleaning procedures here. I had some prominent guests on a city tour once, like the one you were doing, but because they were prominent guests, they were allowed to visit some institutions here in Reykjavik. They were from Djibouti, some ministers from Djibouti. And afterwards there was a cocktail in Höfði House, and one of the ministers said to me, "Your paradise is the sewage system."